And welcome, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Rundown with Lou. As you know, we go through topics. I have great, amazing panelists. Let me introduce you to my panelists today, as this is the first Rundown with Lou to have amazing, beautiful, ultra talented women on the show. So, obviously, because we have women on the show, I'm going to introduce the man first. So we have Meiji, Mr. Big Gold Belt himself. What's going on, sir?
Thank you, Lou, for pretty much getting my head butchered by the end of this show, but I appreciate it.
Next up, I have the talented, beautiful, sword-throwing, men-cutting Keem. What's going on, Keem? You can also catch Keem on Earth too, as she does multiple television reviews, movie reviews. She will review everything, and she's awesome at her job. What's going on, Keem?
Thanks, Lou. And just a quick note, I'm an equal opportunity stabber. Anybody can get
it. And last but definitely not least, I have the beautiful, the talented, I want to say authoress, but I don't think that's a word.
But I've never heard of it.
It's a word now. Authoress, neo soul, crystal guardian goddess. How else can I describe this young lady? One of our co-stars on our Insecure podcast, the amazing Amaya Desire.
You better give her spirit fingers.
Exactly.
I was ready for like the steam to start flickering.
Hey, just like in Purple Rain,
yeah,
when Vanity came out, it was gonna be the same thing. I'm telling you. So let's quickly jump into these topics so we can have fun this week, as it was little to no news, but of course we can make news out of anything. First topic is Mr. Tory Lanez, aka Papa Smurf, finally got his charges this past week. Just as we talked about him last week, everything finally hit the fan for him this week, as he got 23 counts against him and faces a possible 22 years in prison, where he will be passed around like an old biscuit. Now, first I'm going to start with King. King, what are your thoughts on Mr. Lanez finally getting charged, and what do you think may happen with him with this trial?
I am glad that they finally charged Daystar so he can go sit his little ass down somewhere and be quiet. I haven't paid any attention to his album, but I kind of wish he had 23 tracks on the album, so that the judge would have been like, I gave you a charge for every one of those flagrant ass songs that you put out, knowing you could have just read the room and kept your mouth shut and probably tiptoed around this situation until somebody else did something else super crazy. But yeah, as far as the trial, I don't know. 2020 just has me in a place where I'm expecting nothing and just waiting to see. So it could just, be pretty run-of-the-mill. Maybe he'll cop a plea and go ahead and bow out gracefully. Maybe he'll come with some bombshell news where everybody will be like, So,
like Meg shot him, and then it ricocheted off his knee and got into her foot, like some crazy.
Something crazy.
I mean, the president did get cured of COVID in 4 days, so it's no telling what can happen in 2020.
Leave the room.
So, Amaya, what are your thoughts on Mr. Lanez and the charges?
Ugh. That's how I feel about it. I feel like, this whole thing has been a whirlwind of like he say, she say. There were so many different conversations on it about, like why does Megan need to prove her story for somebody to believe her? Guys saying that Tory, why isn't he just innocent until proven guilty? And I think that his blatant semi-disrespect for Megan in regards to the album was just like, really, dude? Like really? This is what you're doing? I think that right now, just like anything, going to trial and like Keem said, seeing what the turnout is, will he plead guilty? Will he, come out with some evidence we're unaware of. So right now, definitely a waiting game. But I think that he's just making himself look bad at this point. He's just doing a lot of things that's making him look even more suspect, and people are just side-eyeing him like, yeah, no. So at this point, he just really needs to just hop on a bench and just sit there. You need to stay still, okay, and let this thing do what it's gonna do. I think that the idea that Megan covered for him in the beginning, all of that stuff is gonna play a part. I've never been in that situation before, so I can't speak on it, but I will say that I can understand why she probably did what she did, and hopefully we will get down to the truth, but this is Hollywood. So, I mean, did OJ do it or didn't he? Because we're still.
I know he wrote that book.
So you're saying that Tory Lanez is going to come up with a book? If I shot her,
his album.
This is what would happen.
Right.
His album was If I Did It. That's.
So, Najee, what do you think about Mr. Daystar, which is crazy? His real name is Daystar, and he didn't think that was enough of a stage name. It's crazy.
He better be lucky this joint wasn't in New York. This has been it.
Benson the Stabler would have had his ass in jail in the first 48 hours, Joe.
But like I said last week, he had no business trying to come out with an album thinking he can monopolize off of it, thinking he had some superstar status that would supersede everything that was happening around him by dropping an album. I mean, and to be honest, too, a lot of people in the past who are mega celebrities drop albums and tend to fizzle away anything negative around them. It's just what happened. I'll never forget one time Charlamagne said that Bill Cosby should have just dropped the album. He would have been all right. But if you do your research, honestly, people have done that. Like big celebrities who have done stuff or were being or investigated or whatever have dropped albums, and all the bad publicity just went away. There's like, oh shoot, new heat. I gotta listen to this. Well, Tory Lanez, like I said, tried that and realized that he's just a little man in a big world. Nonetheless, all them charges that he got, good for him, because they're gonna probably pick that album apart just to be petty. And facing 23 years for this, and Megan's obviously not backing down. Tory Lanez is talking about, and it's true, charges aren't conventions, but nonetheless, like something's gonna stick, and he's gonna do some time because of it. Because at the end of the day, she got shot. She's here to tell about it, and he seems really suspicious about every little thing that he's and the other thing too, like if he knew he's gonna get charged, he should have never came out and opened his mouth. So like his lawyer and all of them, like they definitely they're not advising him well here. So
I would say they probably disagree with the album altogether and said
exactly. Be quiet. Like don't say nothing right now.
At least if you're gonna drop an album, you gotta at least have a hot song. Like, where is your ignition? Like, we need to forget. You got to make us Step in the Name of Love and make you forget all about your charges. But you can't come back and drop that album and think anyone is going to forget about anything. But I want to throw you all a separate question on this same topic. Do you all feel that Megan is to blame for any of this? Meaning, I understand she wanted to come out and protect Tory. I fully understand that. But because she didn't come out right away and tell her story, do you think it left a window for him to actually do this? Because she's never fully explained anything that happened that night. So he feels he can paint a certain narrative to this story only because she has not said anything about it. King?
The only thing Megan did as a woman over 5'9" was dating a short man. No. My bad, Najee.
Wow, did you say Najee because he's under 5'9"?
Yeah.
And I'm over 5'9", so I'm good. So I'm a real man. Sorry,
You know what?
I don't think she did anything wrong. I think, at the scene of the crime, not only was she trying to protect him, but she was trying to protect herself, because all you got to do in front of a cop as a black person is say gun. That's it. And then
they're gonna sprinkle some crack on you, then that's gonna be it.
I felt that when she said that on her live. I was
like, and then aside from that, she's definitely, tried to build up this persona of being a real bitch, a real nigga, or whatever. So now she ain't no snitch. So, it's not necessarily all about protecting him. It's this code that she is portraying herself to live by.
Yep.
So, and let's face it, even if on the scene she had to come out and been like, he shot me in my feet, he's got a gun right in his left pocket, everybody then would have attacked her and been like, oh, she a snitch, she ain't real, we don't know what happened. It's a lose-lose situation either way.
Wow. So. Go ahead, jump in there quickly, Amaya. Hurry up, drink your wine, jump in there.
I will agree. I think that it is a double-edged sword that these celebrities project this persona of who, like, I'm hardcore, I'm a thug, this and a third, and then something happens and you want to be a mouse when you really should just be, saying what it is. I'm trying, it's so crazy because we've been around long enough to know that this has been happening for like years and decades, right? My favorite thug is always going to be Tupac, you know what I mean? Because, Tupac was probably like, he'll beat your ass in the middle of a news conference type of shit. But I think that these people have created this narrative and this persona of like having to be who they say they are, because I don't think some of them are that person. I think they just, decided like, this is what I want to portray, this is who I want to be. And then something like this happens. And, I agree with Keem, like, yeah, she definitely wanted to protect both of them in the moment. But, also 24 hours later, you could pick up the phone and been like, listen, this is what happened and X, Y, Z, and it comes down to your health, to your safety. There's so many different reasons why she could have spoke up. It's not necessarily because you're snitching, but the idea that in 2020, we're still perpetuating that type of ideology is like insane to me, because, kids are going to pick that up. You know what I mean? So I think that she does bear a bit of responsibility on just, having to speak up sooner, because especially as a Black woman, those things are necessary for us to be heard, not just seen.
Najee, I'm gonna let you close this out, sir. Not because it's two women, just because naturally I was just going like down the screen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, Megan's not to blame. I mean, they're both right here. I mean, she did what she felt was best, because she definitely has to protect herself first. Regardless of it, if she's saying that she's protecting him, especially in the current climate. I mean, the urgency and the awareness, shall I say, of people in their interactions with cops, I think superseded her being shot or Tory being her, whatever. So I definitely felt that when she said that on the live, like it came off like mildly mad, mildly aggressive, but truly sincere. And that's what I went with, and I feel like she's probably even handling it right. Like, what do I say and what don't I say? Because like, this is real. This really happened to me. And there's probably bigger ramifications than the idea of where it's at now. And I think she was just in protect mode. She's safe. She's alive. Things that we just take for granted, obviously. But at the same time, hopefully, I even hate saying this, but like, hopefully there's justice involved here, but nonetheless, it's good that she is protected. And what happened is in public eye, and screw that Tory Lanez, that 4'11" dude. Like, no.
And I'll close this out by saying this: it is highly important to protect Black women. And when we say protect Black women, it goes way beyond just the physical protection of Black women. People who are attacking her online because she didn't speak out fast enough, or people who are attacking her online because they don't feel she's been clear about what happened, or that Tory got hot beats and they want to like his album. That's fine. But in the end, she is the victim. She was shot by a leprechaun, an evil leprechaun. Shot her in the foot because that's as high as he could shoot.
It wasn't even a lep in the
That's
hood.
not on her. That's not on her. And we got to hold people responsible for their actions. So yes, he faces 22 charges. I believe one of them that will probably stick the most will be the felony gun charge. Assault with a deadly weapon. He's going to do time. hopefully when he does this time and he sits his little ass down for a minute, maybe he'll be able to reflect and understand what he did and come to some form of apology to Megan.
And get some anger management, because
little people don't go through anger management, King. They just like yelling at trees. That's it.
Look, you have little friends. They're good people. So
now, speaking of people getting mad and the world losing their mind, Jeannie Mai, a name I never would have thought I would ever say, but again, I said not many topics, but this was hilarious to me. Came out on a reel to talk about her relationship with young Jizzle, Jeezy, and with him about to be her husband, her wanting to submit to her husband in the biblical sense, people, in the biblical sense, submit to her husband. And while her co-stars were very receptive of this, Twitter, Black Twitter, white Twitter, even Asian Twitter, I think Asian Twitter, they only sent like 3 tweets, but even Asian Twitter came out and just completely lost their minds over this comment. So clearly, again, I'm gonna start with the man here because I am not starting with the women with this question first. So, Najir, what are your thoughts? Not Najir, just look. Don't King.
Thanks, King.
Jeer. I can't get it right. No. What are your thoughts on a woman, not just a relationship, but in general, a woman submitting to their men or their mate? Maybe because, 2020.
All right, that blindsided me because I definitely was going to talk about her, but I guess I'll just even it around.
Even her. If you want to talk about her, that's perfectly fine.
No, I really like her, to be honest. And I do not like no talk shows, but I do randomly find myself watching The Real. And the fact that it's called The Real, and I do feel like they are very realistic about their relationships, their vulnerabilities, and their emotions. I think anything that they say comes from a good place, and they all hold each other accountable. So when to hear something like that, and obviously I didn't hear it live, but like to hear something like that, I respect it because I feel like it's coming from a concise place. And again, they hold each other accountable. And when they don't know something, they don't understand something, they look across the table and they ask, and they bring on other educated people, specifically women as well. And they have these really deep and intellectual conversations about relationships, mental health, and so on. So her going back to a traditional formality, shall I say, in marriage and using the word submit here, I don't see nothing wrong with it. That's what makes her relationship work, and that's what makes her happy. And good for Jeezy at the same point, because you gotta give him a lot of credit. The guy really changed his life around a lot. And them coming together has just only elevated the two of them. So if that's what they want to do, and that's the terminology they want to use going forward, then like good to them, and I think it's going to be, they're both mega celebrities. So, it's going to be under public perception, but I think a lot of people are going to look back at this a couple of months and say like, why was I mad? They're happy and they're successful and they're still cohesive. And, it was nothing to be an uproar about. The only thing I hate here is the fact that she had to go and explain herself. I absolutely hate that. Like, if you felt some type of way and then the trolls of the internet come for you into a negative stand, I don't feel like you owe them a justification as to what you want to do in your bedroom. Makes zero sense to me. So, but good for them. And much love and success for them. Like, again, I like them two together.
So, King, what are your thoughts on Jeannie Mai's comments and how her and young Jeezy's relationship has affected the Black and Asian communities? I could barely get it out. I tried my best to hold that in.
Oh, I don't care. If that's what works for them, that's what works for them. That's great. I'm not even about to sit here and tell somebody how to run their marriage. Like, if she, whatever term you want to use, she wants to submit, she wants to let him lead, she wants him to be head of household, whatever. As long as he's equipped to do that, go for it. Like, it's people out here struggling to, you know, figure out what's happening in their relationships and stuff. So if that's what works for them and they're going to be successful, great. I feel bad because I feel like there are already people who are waiting on their downfall and wishing them failure. Just, oh, I can't wait till he dumps her because he was with a black girl and he left the black girl, blah, 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 blah. It ain't nobody's business. I mean, I realize they're on a talk show and so, you know, they put themselves out there like this, but yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I could say it's cultural, like maybe in her culture, the woman submits. I don't know. It's
a good
point. Luck, y'all. Like in a
if
world
only I had our Asian correspondent on this week, but he has to get a mic first after last week.
And we are not going to ask him to discuss submitting in a relationship.
It's going to take our little show to lasting 6 hours as he brings up how in 1842 how everything that. Hey, that's my man. I love him though. So
love you.
Wait,
yeah,
can I
on a special episode of the Rundown with Ant, because that's what's gonna happen. But in all seriousness, when it comes to like who submits in a marriage and who's dominant and lead, I mean, it's what works for you and your household. Like if you are the man, you want to be the head of household, you want to be the leader, just make sure that you are prepared and equipped to do that. Because if you don't know how to lead, if you're not making great decisions for yourself and then ultimately your family, I'm just fucking it up for everybody.
There you go.
I want to add something really, really quick too. Like, and her comments about the pushback that she was getting, she was very specific too, and said she didn't care what kind of pushback she was getting back from women. And I thought that was interesting as well, because especially in a time when, you know, women are trying to elevate each other. And I get that they're saying like this is a step back, but again, it is their relationship and their love. I mean, hell, Will and Jada, people don't like that, and so what? Hey, now they're doing, you know, Jeannie and Jeezy doing this, and people don't like. So what do y'all want? And why is everybody in everybody's bedroom? By the way,
wow, wow. I'm gonna go to our relationship expert here, Amaya, and then I'll let her answer when they. Because I'm not asking what women want. I watched the whole movie and still couldn't figure out what women wanted.
So, hold on. And one more thing I just want to add to Keem's point too, very specifically too, to what Keem said. Don't forget that Jeannie just got divorced and she made that decision to get divorced. So now that she understands how to run her relationship and what's happy and what makes her happy, she's making these changes. Good for her. I don't see how there could be any pushback from other women when the idea of that she's doing what she feels is best for her based on her experience and her knowledge. So
you don't understand pushback from other women. No.
I ain't saying.
I'm about to say, because I mean,
tricky Lou here.
That's the Big Gold Belt podcast.
I'm about to mute myself.
Miss Amaya, go ahead and jump in and correct us all here.
No. So two things. Do what works for you and your own relationship. Secondly, misery loves company, right? The internet is a miserable ass place. Like we have noticed this. By far, one of the world's greatest miserable buckets of people are in the internet. That's where they live. And so I listened to Jeannie's comments. She basically said, you know, after running my own business and doing all these things during the day and having to make all these decisions, when I come home, I want to feel like he can do, you know, take the responsibility of making decisions that I can be like, oh, okay, right? So I think people always hear what they want to hear. For me, it's very simple, right? And when she said it like that, I understood it, because think about running your own podcast, running a business, coming home, taking care of the kids, and still having to do X, Y, Z. It would be nice to say like, oh, he got that. I don't have to worry about that. I trust him enough that he can make the decision. And really and truly, that is what a relationship and marriage is supposed to be like. I should be able to say that I trust you enough that whatever decision you choose, I can follow that. I'm comfortable with that. And so a lot of people don't know what a healthy relationship looks like. right? And they want to have these relationship goals. Your relationship goals should just be having a better relationship than the last one you had, or fixing your damn self and stop trying to mind other people's business. But again, like I said, misery loves company. So I think that a lot of people are bashing her and they don't even have a relationship to begin with. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Or
you
money.
single. You single, you got a hamster and a goldfish. Like, sit your ass down somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, go get a life. I mean, wait, King, do you have a hamster?
I had a guinea pig. He was.
I noticed how she didn't say cat.
There's nothing wrong with owning
No,
cats.
I didn't say cat. I left cat out on purpose.
I know you did.
No, but bro, I just think that people are miserable, man. We love to, like you said, Lou, they're waiting, or Keem said, they're waiting for the downfall. And it's sad. It really is. Like, just let people love who they love. Let people be happy with who they're with, you know. And that's why I'm really starting to learn that I'm taking certain aspects of my life off of social media, because people are always going to have something negative to say, and you have to really protect your peace. You have to protect your space. And I think although Jeannie, you know, shared her opinion with people, like Nigeria said, I feel like you didn't owe them shit to come back on here and say, well, this is why I said what I said. You said what you said. Nene leaks, right? Okay, I said what I said. End discussion. That's it, you know. So I think that people just need to mind their goddamn business and feed their. What do you have, Keem? Okay, hamster, not guinea pig.
Now, what about the second part of the question of Nigeria saying you women don't know what you want? And
So,
True.
so I didn't say that.
You threw you all the way under the bus. You about
Golly.
to you was about to fly out the window like that.
Exactly.
As if like the podcast doesn't go on the internet. Just feed me to the wolves.
Feed you to the show.
Hey, I need some angry black women in the comments like, and that Nigeria talking all that. Yeah, all of that. Well, I think this is the perfect branch off topic, and that's why this one is following it, of people who share way too much on social media. I know we all have the friend who feels the need to share their life story, or share every minuscule accomplishment, or anything in their life daily. They feel the need to share to the world. What are you all thoughts on people who overshare on the internet?
Unfollow.
Is it an insecurity thing, or or do they really feel their life is that important? And since Amaya, you said something, I'm gonna go right back to you here.
Unfucking follow, mute, hide, whatever it looks like. That's what I'm doing with it. I personally feel like there are a very there are a variety of reasons why people do that, right? I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you though, because I feel like the top reason is gonna be insecurity, right? Like there's a need to be wanted, there's a need to be loved, there's a need to be praised, and you can only really want those things and need them badly if you didn't get them in spaces of your life that mattered the most, right? So I know for me, for example, when social media first came out, I would probably post just about everything, not necessarily personal things, but more so like how I felt. So I wouldn't be afraid to be like, oh my God, you know, sending subliminals, usually, of course, you know, like, oh, you know, you think you got friends and then something happens and boom, you know, you ain't got friends no more. And then you got those friends in your inbox, like, you talking about me? Just at me next time, right? And I'm like, I wasn't talking about you, but in the back of my head, yeah, I was talking about you, but I was also passive aggressive back then. So, you know, but the thing is now, fast forward, I think probably 3 years in, I made a very conscious decision that I'm not posting my life on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And there's just some things you need to keep to yourself. For me, the need to post every single day, pictures every single day, and to talk about people every single day, right? Because these people are not just posting about their lives, but they're also blatantly posting their opinions on other people or on other things. The other day I came across a video of a friend who made a post about some Black joggers. Well, he didn't know they were Black joggers. There was a group of Black people that was just outside of a storefront. And I run with that group, so I know them. They were coming back from a half marathon, right? But the caption was like, look at these niggas, right? And then like, of course I'm at Baltimore. And I'm thinking to myself, let me just Okay, you know what I mean? Because like when you think about it, people wasting so much time imposing their negativity on other people. You know, you're literally going out of your way to find reasons to make fun of people, to chastise people, to it's just, to me, it's just so draining for me personally. So I don't feel the need to post my life. I will post, like when I bought my house, it was 3 months before I posted anything. People who knew, and people who didn't just didn't. Like it wasn't a necessity for me. I only shared my accomplishment, which led to actually, you know, I just shared to share for myself, but it also led to people asking me like, hey, do you have a realtor? Hey, how's this process go? Hey, you know, so my thing is like, it all depends on why you're sharing what you're sharing. But for me, the top thing is always going to be like some sort of insecurity in which you feel the need to get praise from so many people that not even your small circle can do it for you. For me, I bought a house, 10, 11 people knew. And those 10, 11 people were excited for me. And that's all I needed. The share was just something extra. You know what I mean? So we have to learn to be content with like the circle that we create. So for me, I'm just like, why do you need all this attention and you have friends or you have a circle of people that you claim that you trust and you love? So for me, I'm the top choice is gonna be like insecurity and lack of something that you didn't get in time and places when you needed it most.
So, Najir, what are your thoughts on this topic, sir?
Yeah. So one, we're definitely cut from a different cloth. Like the people that gotta operate that way, I just don't know. Like it is, I can never subject myself in the public eye of that sort. Don't need public confirmation. And it has nothing to do with how you're raised and stuff like that, because they would say that only childs are the ones who need the most attention. I'm an only child and I actually need no attention, to be honest. So so that's a lie. But it's just weird to me because it's just like it's like everybody I feel like feels like they have a little bit of celebrity to them. Everybody feels like they're a little important, and everybody do pose as special talent, and you know the only way to kind of really to really bring that to the forefront is using social media. I mean, quite frankly, to be honest, social media can be used in really powerful networking ways if it's ethical.
Yes,
but a lot of people are taking it for personal advantage, and that theory is never still enough for them. It's always I need more, and then it almost turns into a cult, and then eventually it turns into OnlyFans. But like at some point, it's just it breeds a really it breeds. Let me be very clear. I was about to say it breeds a bad personality, but in fact, it breeds mental health issues up and down the board because the internet was never built to be used that way, but people figured out different ways to use it, and then it just becomes an obsession. It's not a healthy obsession. Actually, no obsessions are good. And the fact that people use social media for their plateau, and as they like to say, my platform. But again, it still didn't come from a good backing. So I don't know. It's just like people that's like that. Long story short, I'm cut from a different cloth. I can never operate that way, and the ones who do, I'm just not fond of at all. Like and again, me being humble and the type of person I am, I don't seek out to tell them they're wrong for what they're doing, but under no circumstance do I agree and would I ever duplicate it. So you know, and again, it all is going to come down to one thing, and that's going to breed mental health issues. You will see at some point when TikTok no longer exists, and they're like, what am I going to do? What happened to all my followers? And then when finally OnlyFans decides to even out, and then everybody not making all the money that they wanted to make, and all that other stuff, and then Instagram eventually gets bought by something, and they change it. Hell, people are already mad now about the Instagram algorithm. They're not getting enough likes, and I got to repost this because you didn't see it. Like clearly, you know. Oh, I love that got deleted by accident when deletion takes 2 steps in order to do so. So that's a big accident. That's about as big as the accident as the Hawaii missile fake me out thing. Yeah, like sorry, I pressed one button and all of a sudden ballistic missile on the way. Like clearly we know that didn't happen, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just I can't have healthy relationships with anybody who operate that way, because I'm just not that type of person. And as Amaya said, not block, more like unfollow or whatever the other terms you use. Like, do what y'all got to do. Hi, yeah, do what y'all got to do. But I'll be out your way.
Right.
Keem, I'm gonna let you finish off this amazing topic of people oversharing on the internet, and you are the perfect person for this, Keem, because you share little to nothing on the internet. So you would definitely have an opinion on people oversharing on the internet.
You know, Lou, it's actually quite the opposite. I feel like there was probably a time where I would look and be like, why are they putting all this out here? And then I had to stop and ask myself, how is this affecting you? It's not. So you can, like, I always have these conversations with my mom because she's always so shocked about, stuff that certain people do or stuff that certain people put, like, oh my, I can't believe blah, blah, blah. Why would they do that? Why would they say something like that? And I'm like, you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to figure out what motivates other people to do the crazy shit that they do. Mm-hmm. Not saying that, posting on social media so much is crazy shit, but for some people it's you're bored or you're lonely. This is the way you feel like you're connecting with people. For kind of like Najir said, sometimes this is your way at, mini level celebrity or whatever. Because even if you think about it, when you think about like the 70s and 80s childhood stars, how shit was sweet for them when their 80s sitcoms were on and they were the adorable little scamp with the catchphrase.
It was Coke too, though, King.
Yeah. and the Coke was flowing. And then the show went off the air. They were typecast. They couldn't get any more parts. And, then you see the VH1 behind the music, behind the scenes, and then tragedy struck because they don't know how to deal with this.
Yes.
So I just really try to mind mine. I am pretty thoughtful about the stuff that I put out. I'm introverted by nature anyway, so it's kind of easy for me to keep a low profile, but then the stuff that I do post, as I'm trying to be more mindful of people's feelings and perception, I'm like, okay, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm not going to put a picture of myself because I know where this is going to lead in about 15 minutes.
Slide in the DM, King. Like, they come and they trying to figure out what you do with them knives after 11.
So yeah, kind of, what Amaya and Najir said, if I just see something too much and it's really bothering me that much and I don't feel like I'm enjoying it from an entertainment perspective, because there are people who post 6-7 times a day, every day. Look at the post and I know exactly who posted it. And half of the time I'm amused as hell. So I'm like, hit my little like button or my heart or whatever, and I keep on about my business. But if I feel like it's too much, I know how to click hide, unfollow, unfriend, block, whatever I need to do. But yeah, it's not a huge thing for me these days.
Oh, that's it. Okay. All right. Well, again, it's very simple. This topic came to me just based off of a certain celebrity. I won't name them because I don't want people yelling at me, who decided to overshare some information that I felt was extremely private. And then me noticing so many other people do the exact same thing. No one needs to know about your life. Sometimes you go through moments where it's best kept between you and your loved ones. You don't have to share everything. Every accomplishment that you make ain't something people are jealous about. Please remember that. Some people are genuinely proud for you and proud for the things you do. That don't mean they want everything negative to happen to you. You create more enemies by oversharing on the internet and making up people that hate you on the internet. But that's a separate topic. We're not going to get into that at all.
You talking about how Dwight Howard accidentally shared the argument he was having with his girlfriend?
Hey, that made no sense. during the NBA Finals, you shared an argument with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
And you have a girlfriend.
Have fun with your little friends.
Exactly. Have fun with your little friends and your little championship. Tell LeBron I said hi. Like all of that.
And meanwhile, they left Cook back at the stadium.
Meanwhile, Rondo getting drunk on the court with his 9-year-old child. Like,
yeah.
They just didn't know.
Oversharing.
Exactly.
Oh my
They
God.
don't know. In LA, they just don't know how not to overshare in basketball. But speaking of someone oversharing, this past Saturday, Mr. Bill Burr. Did I make this down? Yes, I did. Mr. Bill Burr decided on Saturday Night Live to call out all white women. And I'm sorry, I did not mean to offend anybody by saying that, but anybody who saw Bill Burr's monologue, or in this case, anyone has seen anything Bill Burr has ever said, should have known this was coming, especially after a week beforehand, he was kind of being criticized and called a racist for certain opinions about Black people that he shared out loud. So, King, I know you love Bill Burr as much as I like Bill Burr. You know, I said you love, and I said I like. What were your thoughts on his monologue this past Saturday?
As with everything Bill Burr, I understand that he is pointing out truths through humor. Mm-hmm. As with everyone, I'm not going to agree with everything he says. Some stuff he says, I'm going to be like, ha, ha, Bill.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I feel like he made a valid point, whether people, were uncomfortable with it or not. I know you haven't seen the full thing yet, but he made a few interesting points where I was like, I mean, he's not wrong. But I laughed. I feel like in most Black households or discussions, when they start talking about diversity and equality, these are the conversations that are talked about often, whether people realize it or not. One of my best friends, every time we start talking about elections, she points out who the people were walking around in pantsuits but ended up voting the other way, even though they were all holding up their I'm with her signs. So, yeah.
They was referred to, she turned her back. You said, I'm not really with
her.
I'm not with that blank.
Right. So, sometimes there are comedians who tell truth, and it's hard to see it when they hold the mirror up to your face and you actually have to sit there and look like, damn, I am in my Prada pumps. But I mean, facts, my guy. That's
Najir, what are your thoughts on Mr. Bill Burr?
I advise everybody to check it out. Keem hit it on the head on this one. I mean, what do you expect with him? And number two, what do you expect with Saturday Night Live's and Monologue? Anytime they bring a comedian up there, expect for it to have a tone as such. And it's their platform to do so. So much like Dave Chappelle of recent, and now with Bill Burr, he's addressing something that many people may not have wanted to say it, but hell, that's what comedians do. They say the hard stuff, they add a little bit of humor to it, but goddamn if it ain't right. So all I can say is just watch it. It is on YouTube. Just type in Bill Burr. It's absolutely going to be the first video that comes up. It's about 7 minutes long, and it's just him dropping dime after dime. Like, yeah, he definitely definitely hit some points, and beyond him hitting the points, I think the respective of like the chain of like how the chain of events kind of happened was kind of the like I didn't really put that together, thinking like, oh yeah, like oh yep, that does make sense. So there's no reason for me to paraphrase anything. Just watch it for sure. Like I watched it back like 3 times already, and it's just like yeah, he's definitely on the one here. So and also too, I just want to say this: I am so sick of movements happening and people taking that movement and completely creating their own narrative with it. I am beyond livid with how many of them recently have done that. It's when something start off as one thing and then somebody's like I want to
name these movements.
Not at all. Not for right now, especially since we're coming up on time. So not at all. But I'm so livid about movements that end up becoming, well, what about me? And they put their own spin on it and use the hashtag, and it has nothing to do with the original movements. So that. So yep, I'm done.
Let me use my Republican brain to figure out what movements here you are talking about. Now, Isha, from someone who I've tried to get into Prada pumps for the last 3 years, what are your takes on Mr. Bill Burr's special and what he was saying?
I need Prada flats. Okay, flats.
We have an agreement here. No such flats don't exist in the world. They're for women who can't dress.
Get the kitten heel Pradas.
No.
The only way you get the kitten heel is if you poolside. If she's at the pool, she can wear a kitten heel. If she's not in the pool, you shouldn't be. But shout out to all women out there. If you wear kitten heels, you better be going to praise Jesus, or you better be poolside.
You better have your Sunday best.
There's no other reason for you wearing kitten heels.
I see a pair of kitten heels, I cannot help but laughing because I always think of Lucas. I'm like, oh, he'd be so disappointed.
Worst creation on earth.
Yeah,
it's
kitten heels is they're training wheels for heels. That's what they are. They're training wheels for heels.
Yeah, technically,
those and wedges.
But so
okay, stop right there. Stop right there, sir.
I didn't really see the SNL skit. I only heard like bits and pieces, but like Najer said earlier, like what do you expect from SNL, right? Like this is not anything new. This is just something that we all should be accustomed to at this point. But from what he did, what I did hear, I was like, oh, you mad? Let me put a cape on you so you can be super mad. Like at this point, it is what it is. I mean, you can't be upset that somebody is calling out your truth, right? I'm here living in Baltimore, and so oftentimes I see these signs that are like white silence equals white violence, or all this other stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, like,
wait a minute.
Oh,
white silence equals white violence?
Yeah, or something of that.
Jesus.
I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, but you know what I mean.
If you didn't say that wrong, I am creating that for a t-shirt. White silence equals white violence.
I think that white people are always overly sensitive, and they love to call us sensitive. You know what I mean? But the reality of it is like, no, like this thing's you're mad because it's not one of us saying it, it's one of your own. And it's like, you shouldn't be outing us on national television. How dare you? And it's like, Becky, get over it. So yeah, I'm gonna watch the full 7 minutes. But I definitely think that people are always gonna be mad when they're being put on blast. And like Keem said earlier, when you gotta look in that mirror, sometimes you're not gonna like what you're gonna see.
So in other words, people just calm down. It's okay. My friends, my white friends, I have so many of them. I love you all. I love you all equally. You're big people. I love you. I love you all. Love you all. There's no reason to get mad at Bill Burr. We know coming in the door the type of comedian that he is. He loves to push envelopes. This is what he does. To my woke white friends, get over it. It was funny. We agree it's funny. Oppression at times can be funny, amazingly. Because it's truth in comedy. It's the same thing Dave Chappelle does. It's the exact same thing Bill Burr did. You all are just not used to Bill Burr or it being done to white people. Right. We're used to it being done to black people. It's been happening for years. Just get over it. And speaking of things to get over, and I'm going to say this because I am a tad bit angry. Because 1, no one asked for this. 2, screw you, Eddie Murphy. 3, screw you, Amazon and Volt Industries, aka Jeff Bezos' company. It was announced today that Amazon has bought the rights to coming to in the middle America. Why, Sway? Why? No one asked for this movie, but if we were going to go see it as a community, we kind of want to at least go to the theaters in 2021 when President Trump's amazing cure is available for everyone. That's when we went to go see
So much.
it. That's when we wanted to go see this movie in theaters. Now, as a community, you want us to sit at home on Amazon Prime, aka Vault Industries Prime, and watch this movie. So I'm gonna ask you all. I'm gonna start with King here. What are your thoughts on Vault Industries Prime buying Coming to America 2?
Amazon is doing like my cousin used to do when we would play Monopoly. He would just buy everything he landed on, and it used to piss me off so bad because all I could get was Baltic Avenue, and I really went in the game collecting $25 in rent every time somebody
Baltic Avenue
lands
is
on
Apple
shitty
at
ass
this
property.
point.
But honestly, I'm okay with them buying it and streaming it. I mean, you know, it would have been nice to have the Black experience to see it in the theater with,
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
all the extra commentary. But let's face it, we're not going back to the movie theaters anytime soon. They want to get it out while there's still a little bit of momentum. So, all right, then. I mean, am I going to pay to watch it as soon as it comes out? No. Am I going to wait until it's free with the Prime membership that I'm borrowing from somebody else? Love you, babe. But yeah, so
Damn.
that's really all I got. I mean, nobody asked for it. There's no need for it to
We haven't seen Arsenio Hall in 26 years. We need to know he's still alive and okay.
He's done stuff since then. This is like when they did the Dumb and Dumber sequel finally, and then you sat down and watched it and was like, this did not need to happen.
Yeah. What was the movie they just did with Tom Cruise?
They're talking about Ted and Bill.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise? Oh, Bill and Ted. That was not
Bill and
Tom
Ted,
Cruise.
yeah. That was not Tom Cruise, but I knew that's what she was getting at.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, they do.
Well, since you said that, Amaya, what are your thoughts on not being able to experience this Black future classic in theaters?
I was ready to put on that outfit and put my hair up in those gold springs and bounce around at the movie theater like a puppy. And now I can't do it. They ruined it for me. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I agree with Keem. Like, you know, I would have loved to see it in the theater just because it's nice to be, you know, out with people and a crowd of laughter. So I guess I'll have to settle with fake ass theater seats in my house and inviting folks over, you know, and hitting the applause or laughter button, you know, when I feel like it needs to be happening.
I need one of those. I really do need one of those.
But, you know, yeah, I think that, listen, right now, I just want laughter. You know, I need all the laughter I can get.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will figure out a way to stream it without paying, just like I did that fucking terrible ass movie, Mulan.
Oh. Wait a minute. We just spoke on Black and Asian relationships, and you now take the time to try to shit on Disney's Mulan, aka The Force is with her.
It really messed up my childhood.
I'll see it in December.
When it's free?
The cartoon.
And I'm gonna review it like it just came out. I swear, the first thing I'm gonna say is the new Disney Plus movie. That's gonna be the sickest review ever.
Oh my gosh! Yo.
So, my fellow film critic Najir, what are your thoughts on us not being able to share the Black experience of going to see Coming to America in theaters?
I love for somebody, and obviously you, who goes to the movie all the time. I love the idea of people saying, I was gonna see it in the theaters. No, the hell you wasn't. The same people that I will go say, this is a must watch, they will say, man, I'm just gonna hit up Debo, man. I think he's gonna have that joint at the barbershop this week. them joints clear too, man. You gotta get that. You know, this joint was tracking at an all-time high for bootleg. So the only person that's upset here is Debo, because he can't compete with Amazon, and everybody's going to be borrowing everybody's login to stream it. So as far as the whole party that was going to go down, that was never ever going to be there.
Are y'all crazy? Hold up.
It was never going to be a thing.
I know I'm the host of this show, but I'm going to ask, are y'all crazy? as black folks, do you know how much I wanted to see this movie in theaters? I knew it was going to be bad. That don't mean I didn't want to go see it. Do you?
All right, hold on. So what was
around black films? Like
what was the last film
in theaters?
What was the last
Get Out in theaters? Do you know how many white people I wish bad upon when I went to go see Get Out in theaters? I wanted to see this movie so bad.
What was the last movie though that everybody went to go see?
Black movie?
Mm-hmm.
What's that
movie? It wasn't Photograph.
What's that movie? No, there was no need to see that movie.
Yeah, but did it scream to us like no crazy?
But no, what I'm saying is that it depends on like it being a comedy. I think black people in general have been waiting for that comedy for us to all go see.
Lovebirds was a comedy. Oh, that didn't come out in theaters. My bad.
Lovebirds was in a black movie. It was a black woman with a Mexican man.
He's not. What?
He's not.
Okay. Okay.
Cut the show.
Yeah.
That
Keem, you good, right? Because at this point now,
that was not something that black people wanted to see. I'm talking about in a sense of like, and I know this is going back a little bit, the booty calls, the blue streaks, even Bad Boys 3, which we saw black people.
Did they go out for that?
Black people lined up for Bad Boys. I had black people. That was the best movie ever. Like I think
they definitely did go then.
Yeah, I think it's because, as Amaya said, a lot of people are looking for humor. They're looking to laugh, especially in the climate that we're in. And even going into 2021, when our amazing cure from our president is finally revealed to the public, we're still going to want to laugh. And this was like a big movie. This is a big cultural movie.
Okay.
Again, no one asks for Coming to America 2.
Not at all.
Not a single person besides Eddie Murphy's wallet asks for Coming to America 2. But it is still something I think as a whole we wanted to experience. And the social media experiencing of it is not the same as a theater experience of it.
I mean, absolutely agree. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of lip service when it comes out to it. I really want to see it and people don't go. So I don't know. But nonetheless, though, Amazon has been making purchases left and right. What else did they just recently buy? Oh, they had all the Blumhouse.
The world.
Yeah, basically.
The world. They bought the world.
It just bought us, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, but I'm forgetting. I'm
giving black people reparations.
But I'm forgetting about my big point too. The big thing to take away from this is that them purchasing this could not have meant good things about this film. That means that they probably was treading in we're up shit's creek. We need a care package, and Amazon's like, got you. Cut them a check. Make it make sense.
That could be the case, as Amaya said. It could be the opposite, where this movie could be its Bird Box, where it blows away everyone. And Amazon says, hey, if you're willing to sell now, we're willing to not only give you the production budget back, but we're willing to pay for everything. Mm-hmm. You never know. It's not like Amazon has money issues at this point.
Right.
Like the world doesn't even leave their house. They ship everything through Amazon.
Yeah. Okay, so
they ship deliveries through Amazon, like babies, actual babies in the world through Amazon.
So let's ask the hard question then. Will it be a good movie?
That's a good question. Keem, I'm going to start with you as we close this out. Will Coming to America be a good movie? And does it matter if it isn't a good movie?
Yes, it matters. It absolutely matters.
Tales from the Hood is not a good movie, but boy, do we all love that movie. This ain't no motherfucking funeral home. Like, we love that movie. Does it matter?
I don't think it. I think if they have a couple of good quotables, that's all that's really going to matter. I do hope that they don't do what a lot of comedic sequels do by following the same formula as the first movie. So you see the same, they might change the joke, but you see the same bit like that happened in the first movie. So, but I mean, people support Tyler Perry every day. Ain't none of his shit.
Nothing about Mr. Great, the great Tyler Perry.
Listen.
Can I just?
Look,
Can I just?
I'm rooting for everybody black. So
Hey, that's all we doing. Hey, shout out to Wale.
Can I just intervene? How Lucas just throws in Tales of the Hood, like Tales of the Hood 3 isn't coming out for Halloween, and no one.
I didn't mention other ones.
Oh,
look here! Don't you dare try to taint Tales of the Hood by bringing up that horrible sequel that King made.
Okay, you shut your mouth. That horrible sequel. That was great. When that lady gave birth no, that was great.
I'm not watching another Tales of the Hood. That's in like I'm not watching another Candyman. I mean, that don't just because black people we have bad sequels, but Coming in America felt special. It felt like something that in the end, even if we didn't ask for it, we all wanted to see. So Maya, what are your thoughts? Do you think this has a chance of being a good movie?
If I can get a dozen laughs, right, including that one cry laugh, I'm good.
Hey, that's all I need. That one slave cry laugh, and I'm done. Or a glory laugh, where you laughing, and then that one tear comes out. I'm done. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. If I can get
So, you can end it out as we close out the rundown this week. Do you think this movie has a chance of being good?
Good luck.
And does it matter?
It does matter. It does matter because no matter what, we know that good movies get slandered by bad reputation. One person says it's not good, and it hits the social media, it hits Black Twitter, it's a wrap. So it has to be spectacular.
Let me give you a sliding scale. Black movies. Think about it.
It's true.
Think about it.
Because if
that last
the
Superfly
right
was horrible on so many levels, but black people loved it.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, as a community, we accept movies differently. Like Tyler Perry's last movie, all we needed was Ashtray, bitch.
And
once we got
Ashtray,
bitch,
just off of
it just blew up out of nowhere.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. So no, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be popular. That's it.
It has to be the right kind of bad movie. Like that movie was so bad that everybody started watching it.
It had bad wigs, bad acting, bad writing. Felicia Rashad. Like again, if you have a bad movie and have people we respect in it, like you cannot like any movie with Cicely Tyson. She is up.
No.
Hey, this has been another episode of The Rundown with Blue. Again, you can catch us on all the DSPs and on YouTube. I was literally about to say something about Cicely Tyson that I feel is true.
I know what you're going to say. So I just want to
look.
His mic.
You don't know. Am I lying?
Use his mic.
Am I?
All right, now do it.
Thank you, people.